Good morning, everyone. So it is a cold 46 degrees here in Louisville, Kentucky. So I hope wherever you are in this world that it is a lot warmer than it is here. But yeah, for today's daily growth video, I received a message on Facebook from a user that asked me if I could just shed some insight on this scenario, on the situation. So I want to share it with you and kind of just give you my thoughts and my perspective, and hopefully it will allow not only the other person to heal, but other people that are watching this going through the same situation. And this individual had been in a relationship for about 15 years. It was on and off again, mostly platonic. And recently, the other individual in the relationship said, "I love you, but I don't love you in that way." And I feel like we should cue the Sam Smith CD right now. But in this relationship now, the individual feels very betrayed, very hurt, and is wondering, and actually cut off all communication and contact with the other individual, and just said, how do you move forward? How do you resolve this? And what insight do you have? And so, first of all, I want to tell you that I'm sorry that you're hurting. That I know that anytime a relationship ends, it can be painful. And so I'm sorry you're going through that, but I hope that what I get to offer you shines some light where maybe there's some darkness and gives you some bits of information to help you start the healing process. And so here's what I want you to think about. I'm going to ask you a really tough question this morning, and that if you were really being honest with yourself, how would you reply or respond? And the question is, did this individual and the other individual in the relationship, did they really betray you, or did you betray yourself? I think a lot of times we betray ourselves in relationships. We betray the type of love that we really wanted. We betray our values. We betray our truth, and we don't say the things we need to say. We betray the boundaries that we really expect. And what happens is when it's over and it ends, we get really upset and nasty with other people and project our anger at them when we're really angry at ourselves. And I'll give you some examples, but I want you to think about this in a relationship. You know, I only get this much information on Facebook and in your email, but when I read it, you know, to say it was on and off again for 15 years and it's mostly platonic, and it sounds like you were really wanting it to go to another place than this other individual. And I would ask, did you ever sacrifice the type of love that you really wanted for this relationship, when knowing that it really wasn't sexual, and it wasn't the type of, you know, loving relationship that you probably needed or wanted in your life? Did you ever sacrifice your truth? Did you not say the things you needed to say? And I'm going to give you another perspective. You know, I think one of the most loving things we can ever do is tell people the truth. And this individual told you the truth. They told you that they do adore you, they love you, they just don't love you in the type of way that you need them to love you. And when you talk about owning your power and owning your truth, he did that. And I respect and admire him for that. And sometimes it comes as a shock because it may be what we weren't expecting to hear. And now you're left to kind of figure out the pieces, right? And so I would say you have to thank him for at least honoring his truth, and now you got to get clear about yours. And I think sometimes when we operate from a fear and ego, we see a relationship ending as a loss, right? That I'm losing something, I'm losing this friendship, I'm disconnecting completely, I'm going to block all contact. Whereas if we operate from love and compassion, we get to say, thank you. Thank you for showing me that in relationships, sometimes you got to be truthful even when it hurts. Thank you for giving me 15 great, amazing years of friendship. Knowing that sometimes in life, all love is seasonal and it's going to change. And just because a year or two ago I might have told you I love you a certain way, if we don't make daily investments and commitments into our relationships, that love changes. And it's not that he lied to you in the past, right? It's not that he wasn't being truthful, but maybe his love morphed and maybe it changed. And he's just gotten to a point where now he's really clear about what he wants out of his life. And maybe that path and that journey doesn't always include you the way that you thought it was going to. And the only way that I found healing, or one of the ways I found healing, is to learn to forgive the other person and forgive yourself. Forgive him for not being able to love you the way that he needed to love you. But he did the best he knew how. And his best was by telling you the truth and being really honest with you. And can you forgive yourself? Can you forgive yourself for maybe not saying the things you needed to say, not setting clear boundaries maybe that you needed to say? Can you forgive yourself for maybe not expecting the answer that you didn't get that you really wanted? And no, but here's the final thing I want you to think about as you get out, if you finish up this video today, is I want you to ask yourself this. To move forward, did this relationship teach you about yourself? Did it teach you about what you will and what you will not put up with? Did it teach you about what clear boundaries that you got to set going forward? And did it teach you how to show up better in the next relationship? And if you can say yes, then the relationship wasn't a failure. I think too many times we base success on the final outcome versus the journey. And I will always say success is always about the journey, not the final outcome. Your relationship was a success. It taught you about yourself. It taught you about friendships. It taught you about intimacy. It taught you about how to love. And you can't look at it just based on what the final outcome was. All right? So I hope it gives you something to think about. I hope that I've shined a little bit of light in that darkness. I hope I give you a little nugget to start your healing process and know that you are loved. And I believe in you, and I look forward to kind of hearing about your journey as you move forward. So everyone, I hope that gives you something to think about. If no one tells you they believe in you, please know that I believe in you. Stay warm wherever you are, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.